time. We are so, thank you, Zoe. We are so grateful to have Jennifer Ball here with us today. She is our special projects communication specialist that's been working with our group for the last several months. She has brought a wealth of expertise and wisdom to this team. And she is going to, her topic today is reaching youth through social media. She's also going to spend a little bit of time talking about Covering Wisconsin and the work that Covering Wisconsin does as well. That can be a resource for all of you. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Jen.
Thanks, Danette. Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for Reaching Youth Through Social Media. My name is Jennifer Ball. I'm an Impact and Advancement Lead at Covering Wisconsin, and also a Special Project Communication Specialist with UW Extension. I've been a writer for Covering Wisconsin for their communications team for about 4 years, going on 5 years, as well as the social media manager. So today for our agenda, we're going to talk a little bit about Covering Wisconsin and what we do there. And then we're going to dig into audience, creating social media posts, best practices for health literacy, motivation, using data, leveraging your partnerships, and then we'll end with some takeaways. So what we do at Covering Wisconsin is the nonprofit program of UW Extension, and we help people find and use health insurance. Our health insurance navigators are federally certified and state licensed, and they help people with health insurance resources, and everything that we do there, all the help we provide is free, and we're available statewide. We also create consumer tested materials in plain language and offer training for professionals and partners. We do have this free to download health insurance instructional how-to sheets with over 40 sheets available. Most are in English and Spanish with different topics such as Medicaid, Badger Care Plus, using insurance, and a lot more. So let's dig in. What are the main reasons for using social media? Everybody has their reasons, but here's some top ones. Worldwide, keeping in touch with friends and family, that's a big one. Feeling the boredom, your spare time, reading the news, finding content, seeing what people are talking about, and watching shows. So what's your favorite to use? Why don't you throw some in the chat? What is your favorite social media? Just you personally, not for your organization. Personally, I love some Instagram, Facebook for Covering Wisconsin. We do Facebook, Instagram, Threads, and sometimes X. And recently I've been getting into LinkedIn. That's a great one for networks. It's also a great place to share any kind of social media posts you might have. Oops. So now I want you to think about what your kids are using. Do you even know? Kids these days are using a variety of platforms, but here's the world's most used right now. Facebook is the top. YouTube is next. WhatsApp, Instagram, TikTok. We've got some Snapchat down there. And that's what youth are using. What you can focus on are the YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and web chat are a few. So thinking about this, where do you start when you're going to be starting a campaign for youth? Well, the number one thing is to know your audience. Who is your audience? Are you in a rural area? Are you in an urban area? You really need to think about your audience and the kind of things that are going on in your community. Next, you need to make a plan. You need to think about when your campaign is going to start. Does it coincide with any holidays or an event in your community? At Covering Wisconsin, every year our open enrollment period for health insurance is always November 1st through January 15th. So that's when we want to push out all of our ads. And they just happen to, coincide with Halloween and other holidays. So we use that to our advantage by creating posts with those kind of themes. So if you have that, those are some things that you can think about. And then make a calendar and list your ads out. And you really want to give yourself a timeline to get things done in order to meet your deadlines. So I'm thinking about it. You really need to know at the beginning, what is your end goal? What story are you trying to tell? What do you want people to know? You know, really being authentic is what we're thinking about youth, and they really value authenticity. So for everything, you need to be authentic, and you can use emotion, but whatever you do, make it memorable, because there's so many things that are going to be competing for youth's attention. So here's a couple of examples that we had for different audiences. Get hooked on health insurance, an individual fishing, or this one that was kind of funny, accidents aren't always funny. So we had a whole campaign about accidents. So again, health insurance, it's a boring topic, but we got to do what we can to spice things up and get people thinking about it. So it's also most important to be clear. To use simple, clear language is best for social media. Use photos and try to add movement to your post if possible. Even if it's just having the words move across the screen, just some sort of movement to catch people's attention. And then always end with a clear call to action. So here's a little quiz for you. What percentage of the public do you think struggles with health literacy? I've got A, 45%, B, 15%, C, 90%. I'd love to see put some answers into the chat. So 90%. Nearly 90% of people will struggle to understand what you're saying in your health information. That's huge. That's adults. Only 12% of adults will have the skills needed to understand health information. So this is really something to consider when you're creating really anything that's shown to the public. So this is where we're going to talk about health literacy and plain language basics. So by plain language, I mean, keep it short, keep it simple. Do not use acronyms, spell out all acronyms. Don't use jargon. Use an active voice when possible. Use images. Use large readable fonts, at least 22-point font. And again, use movement if possible. And another thing is to be said for just being positive. Research shows that positive ads overwhelmingly perform better than negative ads. Avoid anything negative or warnings or don't do this, don't do that. It really turns people off. And really speaking to your audience's values that everything's going to be okay, and just be positive. Again, with your messaging, again, just have a clear message of what you want your audience to know. Always a clear call to action, something for them to do. Be consistent with your messaging. Use first person language, like you're talking right to that person. You need to do this. You can do this. And then again, integrate any language or images or something that's important to youth in your community. Really talk to the youth that are in your lives, in your community, to see what's important to them. Another big thing that I always recommend is get feedback. Send some mock-ups to your colleagues or friends and your kids before you send it out into the world, if you have kids or youth in your life. And make sure if you're translating, you have it checked by a native speaker, because we had this cute how to be smart with the little bees, and then we tried to translate it into Spanish, and that idiom did not transfer. So we had to create something different, but I'm glad that we had that insight from a native speaker to say, yeah, no, that's not going to work. So make sure you get feedback on everything you do before you send it out into the world. And you want to use what's popular, you know, very, very demure, you want to be very demure, very mindful. Um, so you want to do what's trending, join the zeitgeist. So this particular graphic demure is combined with something that was very popular this summer, the Brat Summer. This is considered the Brat Summer. Can I get a show of hands of anybody who knows what Brat Summer is? Nope, not seeing any hands. Yeah.
Jen,
Oh, okay. A few people
oh,
do
okay. I was gonna
know.
say, man, I think you need to clue us all in. I'm
Love it.
also curious about the zeitgeist. Like, yeah,
That's wonderful.
maybe I'm alone,
Yeah.
but maybe my
Yeah.
age
Well,
is showing.
yeah. So I'm going to encourage you all to Google it. And because I had no idea. But so very demure, very mindful was something that was coined by a TikTok influencer, and it's really burning hot through social media right now. And I am definitely planning on doing a health insurance post, signing up for health insurance. Very demure, very mindful. So moving on, this was another ad that we made for targeting youth, which was Alex's Health Insurance Quest. Which, youth are big gamers. And if you can put something together with a gaming mindset, I'm sure that that will bring some interest. And so this year was the Brat Summer. Last summer it was Barbie.
Jen, is there sound to that?
Oh, there is. It's not going through.
No. Do you want to
Oh,
maybe replay it and enable that audio? We've got plenty of time. So
okay. Where do you enable the audio? I'm not sure.
on the Zoom, actually. So let's see. I think if you trying to think in presenter view how you go ahead and do that. If you stop sharing quick and reshare, I know when you share at I think it's at the bottom, you will see like share audio.
Okay. How about now?
Doctor! My daughter is sick! Can you help?
Yes, it looks like you lost your health insurance.
What?
You have to pay $500.
$500? What can I do? I don't have $500.
I know someone who can help, someone you trust.
Who's that?
A navigator can cover in Wisconsin.
Oh, yay!
So this was something that was so fun to do. It just took very little budget to do. We filmed it at Centro Hispano in one of their rooms, and that was my daughter and my colleague playing with Barbies. I wrote the script. They kind of ad-libbed, and my colleague videoed it. But again, that just speaks to you can have fun, you can be creative, and also be with the trends and get your message out. Here's another campaign that we did, Mythical Creatures, Unicorn Cat, may be a myth, but affordable health insurance is real. We combine these social media posts with also bus ads and other things. And we have another video here. Let's see if it works.
It's here. It's big. And it's definitely real. No, not the Hope Act, but the healthcare.gov open enrollment period. HODAGs may be a myth, but affordable health insurance, now that's real. Call the 211 helpline to find free local help or go to wiscover.com to learn more.
And so this one was really fun. And recently we've had some stickers made of the HODAG and the unicorn cat so that people can hand those out at outreach events. And so that's also been really fun. And, youth, they love to put stickers on their, water bottles and laptops. So you can have some kind of companion thing to go with your social media campaign. So when you're thinking about what platforms to use, different platforms have different size requirements for the creative. So you could consider putting your content into different sizes, but if you're going to be doing, TikTok, you want it to be in that vertical size. That's good for mobile phones. And you can easily, Google what the requirements are for that and how many pixels it should be for it to be clear. And also, if you're going to make a video, 15 to 30 seconds max. 15 is actually the best, I think, because people's attention falls off after about 15 seconds. And a lot of what I've shown, I do have a graphic designer at Covering Wisconsin, Mike Moriarty, but you don't have to be an artist. Everybody can get a free Canva account. Some of you are probably already using it. To make free advertisements. I made this one and I made it around Halloween, and it's pretty simple, but easy and eye-catching. And the AI of Canva made that graphic for me. And AI is amazing. It can help you generate ideas. It can create images. It can create messages. And it can improve your workflow. These were generated using the Adobe Firefly, and they were animated using Runaway AI. But we really love this series. We had cats and dogs, and they were very popular. So now we're going to talk about storytelling. Storytelling is if you can have someone to tell a story about the work that you're doing, it's going to make things really, really memorable for people. But what makes a good story? When you're crafting a story, you want to hopefully have a personal story from someone that the audience can connect to, someone who can tell things in their own words. And really shows the impact of how you've helped them or how it's meaningful to them. And so in this way, you can use what are considered influencers. And that's really a way to motivate people. These are some influencers that work with us at Covering Wisconsin: Brianna, Kanaye, Rebecca, and Caden. And they are telling an influencer is someone on social media that has subscribers or followers. You want them to have, like at least 1,000 followers or more. But if you're in a rural area and you don't have that, that's okay. If there's somebody in your community, that's what's most important, is giving that kind of, getting that information out from an authentic source. And you want to make sure that when you are asking an influencer to do it, you need to give them some guidelines, give them the points that they need to talk about to keep them on track. You can even give them a script or something to work with, and then make sure you review the content before they send it off into the world. But this was one that we used from a wrestler in Wisconsin.
Oh, dude, got a hole in my shoe. Well, you're gonna have to renew them, just like your insurance.
If you're part of Medicaid, Badger Care Plus, or Forward Health Card holders, listen up. Over the next year, you will have to renew. So here are 3 easy tips so you know what to do. Number 1, get the My Access app if you don't already have it. Number 2, in the app, check your renewal month and year. Tip number 3, plan to renew on the first of the renewal month. If you have questions or need help with any of these steps, go to coveringwisconsin.org and you'll get them answered.
So you can see he did an amazing job, and he gave very quickly, clearly, got the attention in the beginning, then gave the steps that people were to do, and then the call to action at the end for people to go to and to make this happen.
Oh, dude, got a whole.
So when we look back at our TikTok, you can see that the demographics were pretty much split, which is great. And then we could see the different age groups of people and how they were interacting with our work. And so we have the younger demographics that are really on TikTok engaging with our work. You can also see on TikTok the people that click on your ads, what kind of things they're interested in. So I always think this is interesting to kind of get an insight into people that are looking at your work and what their interests are. And these were some of our top performing ads on TikTok. Again, this was Caden. You can see at the bottom, you can see the amount of impressions, almost, over 3,500 people clicked on it. The reach was amazing. And then the amount that we ended up spending on it. We had a pretty good budget for this one, but, and then John, I'll say that, you may think, oh, how am I going to find a youth to speak to what I'm doing? It doesn't always have to be a youth. John is an older person, and he was one of our consumers, and he just also happens to be a harpist. He was really helped by our services, and he was very authentic, and you can see just as many people almost clicked on John and got the information, trusted him. Rebecca was a mom with 2 small kids, again, very popular college student. And then next was the Barbie video, which really, again, people really like that.
Crazy.
So another thing to do, if you're going to be putting things together like this, is to consider making a landing page. And that's exactly what we did for your different ads. For everybody that's going to be clicking on your ad to go, or your post to be going to a landing page that tells them what they need to know or what they need to do, or just has your information there. And then you can collect that data. You can look at your social media analytics to see what's popular, and you can change up your ad with different photos to avoid any kind of fatigue of the person seeing the same ad over and over. So you can make the same message with a different photo in it and reach more demographics. And then again, record your data once a month for your reporting purposes. And you can create reports or web pages that showcase your success. And that can help you to get future funding prospects. And if your ad isn't doing well, no big deal. Just replace it and try something different. And that's the whole part of this is, we've had things that we've done that just really don't resonate with people. And that's just what happens. That's part of the process. So if you have a few things, you can create a toolkit. Every year we make a new toolkit with our latest health insurance messaging for open enrollment, and we provide ready-to-use social media graphics and videos. We also make outreach cards and flyers. They can be personalized, and everything's free to use. So if you don't have a budget for ads, which many of you may not have, and we didn't have, and it's variable, sometimes we don't have a budget for it, ask your partners to like and share your posts. How many health departments are in the state? You have an immense network to like and share your posts. So remind your partners that some other things you can do is remind your partners that you always post on certain days. You can send an email with your post links so they can easily like and share them. Mention your social media at the end of everything you do, all your partner meetings, and also plug it in your newsletters and email blasts. Again, you just spread the word, repost and spread to share the word. People may just, we are partners with the Office of Commissioner Insurance and Wisconsin Department of Health Services, and we are always tagging each other and liking each other's posts, and it really helps for your post to gain momentum and go viral, especially if you are planning to boost the post. If you can get enough organic movement on your post, then it's going to go even further with the algorithms on social media. So again, consider boosting or creating ads on Snapchat, YouTube, Instagram, or TikTok. And if you're targeting a smaller community, you can really do a lot with a small budget. If you do have a budget, $500 to $1,000 would be great. If not, you can still get a pretty good reach with $100 to $200. Another way, if you really don't have money for this, you can combine forces, maybe with other departments or other partners that you have. Wisconsin Broadcasters Association does PSA programs. And what we did for one campaign where we had no budget, we asked our partners to join in, and we all worked together and added a little bit to the pot, and we were able to basically, what Wisconsin Broadcaster will saturate the market with your message in social media, TV ads, and radio. And so that might be something to consider. And if you have some kind of restrictions, you know, maybe you can't have a company TikTok or something, you can pay a third vendor for that to post your things on TikTok or Snapchat. And another thing to think about is if you are planning to post an ad, you should give yourself a few days to make sure that your ad is approved by the platform that you're using. So this is something I think that people don't really talk enough about, and it's staying active on social media. You're in a community, and you need to, you know, really dedicate time, even if it's like 10 minutes a day, to really go in there and see what's happening, what's in your feed, what are people doing, and really take time to interact with other posts. Some things that you can do is invite people to follow or like your page. You can start a conversation, make comments. You can have a live session, post your events that you're going to be having. Excuse me, post the events that you're going to be having, any live events, and you can invite your collaborators as well. So key takeaways for today is really have fun and be part of the social community. Most of us are already on there anyway, interacting, and this is just another way for you to get the message out to the youth that you're trying to reach. Know your audience well wherever you are. Use plain language practices. Don't be afraid to take risks and be creative. Use movement in your posts. Try an ad campaign. Utilize influencers in your community. I feel like that's the future. Again, leverage your partnerships. There's so many of you here in the state. So, and then stay active. And those are the resources for my talk. And I'd love to have any questions you have. And thank you so much.
Jen, thank you so much for sharing all that. I am just super curious about oh goodness, sorry. What's bouncing around in everyone's heads that is a part of our call today? What things are on your mind, and what questions might you have for Jen about using some of this information to engage youth in your programs? The quiet group today.
Yeah, very quiet.
I told Jen, I was like, this group is usually more engaged.
I'm curious to know what projects anyone might be using here to, or if anybody has anything going right now to reach youth.
All right, question in the chat. Thank you. Have you encountered challenges catering to youth, but also wanting to keep it professional? That's a great question.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's always kind of the balance that you have to have. And that's where, another set of eyes comes in. Maybe it's the leadership to we always run things by our director in the end, say like, what do you think about this? Is this going to work out for you? And sometimes she said, yeah, I don't know about that. I don't think so for that one. So it's always a good idea to get those, but I would say, always we want to be professional, always, but there's a lot of things that, again, that you can use. I mean, it's your discretion, but yeah, it could be a challenge, but for the most part, I mean, I would say it hasn't really been that challenging.
Jen, with that in mind, just thinking, and you talked a bit about this in your presentation, but I wonder if you could just highlight it again. When the work that you all have done, how you have involved youth. I know you talked about having some of the influencers involved, that some of them were youth or adolescents or young adults, depending on how we define that work. But what has to sort of shape and form the messages. So I'll let you speak to that. And then we do have a couple other things coming into.
Oh yeah. So those specific influencers were for a special time where people needed to renew their health insurance benefits, or they would lose them. It was something to do with the end of the public health emergency. And so we would kind of give them a kind of a skeleton of the basic things that they needed to have in their post. And then they would just do it their own way. Or think of something creative. So everybody did it really different, but they had to have those key terms. And if they did something that we were like, no, then they would actually, they would take our edits back and they would put the edits in. So that's absolutely normal. I mean, through this process, there's always editing, there's always workshopping going on. So definitely you can have them make changes.
That's great. Okay, question that came in. Barriers to use certain social media. Can you talk a little bit more about third party and how to go around that when working in a government entity? So I'm guessing you guys have encountered some of that with the work that you do, and the barriers, and maybe let's do that one first, I guess. So barriers to being able to utilize certain social media, and then how to go around that when working in a government entity. I'm also going to say too, just to the whole group, if anyone else on this call has wisdom to share around that, like you all may have experience in your local health departments that would be beneficial for others to hear as well. So let Jen speak to it. And then by all means, if anyone else has something to add, we'd love to hear from you too.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to hear what other people are doing as well. Yeah, so we do pay a vendor, InPower in Milwaukee, and they post all of our posts on TikTok and Snapchat. We don't have accounts for those. And I don't believe that at the university we're supposed to have TikTok accounts. I'm not sure. I think it might be like can't have a personal TikTok account or a business TikTok account. So this is a way to pay another vendor to put your message out there, but it's not you having your own channel. So that's how we've gotten around it. Working at in the government space, I don't know. That would be something that you would have to, make sure that's okay for, your supervisors or whoever, if that's okay or not, but that's the way we've done it.
That's great. Additional clarification on that. Anyone else? What have you all done on like overcoming maybe barriers that your county has in place? Or let me see if anyone else is. Yes, Joshua says no TikTok there either. I had never even thought, Jen, about using a third-party vendor. Obviously, there's costs associated with that, right? So that in itself can be a barrier for an organization or a department, but that makes a lot of sense too on how to get the message out into that platform and that space and still fall within the boundaries of responsibility for our organizations too.
Yeah. Mhm. So has anyone had trouble getting approval on having anything other platform? Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I think that's a great question to put out to the group too. Anyone else had trouble getting approval on having any other platform basically than Facebook? And if so, like, we can acknowledge that, but then also curious if you have other creative ways, maybe other than third-party vendors, to get information out onto platforms other than Facebook. I personally would also be curious to know how successful Facebook has been for all of you too. Does it seem to be a successful platform? Are you engaging people in that space? But also really curious on if you found ways to use other social media platforms.
Facebook, we do put everything on Facebook as well, but we see that it's more an older demographic that uses it. So, but definitely people are on Facebook.
Oh, Rachel, I see your hand up, so I don't know if you're just.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Thank you. So during the pandemic, initially we had utilized Instagram with some of our youth, and they would share it out that way, specifically social distancing, kind of like a visual, and that had a pretty good reach in our county.
Instagram's great. Instagram is a great source, and I also think, John Hopkins has an amazing Instagram channel. It's very youth-centered, and it's really fun. You should look them up and follow them, and they're putting out lots of great messaging, public health messaging on Instagram.
And I think they share it to the story, or at least in our situation. I think it was on Instagram, but more specifically their story, which reached farther. You can see all the views.
Yeah, that's great.
Thanks for sharing, Rachel. All right, we do have a couple of comments. No trouble getting approved, just getting it started and finding our look or vibe, referring mostly to Instagram Reels and YouTube. Yeah, I want to acknowledge, and Jen and I were having a little bit of a conversation about this beforehand. It also takes time, right? Time and some creative energy and experience. And so, we all know, right, that sometimes time can sometimes be one of our biggest barriers. And yet knowing if we take the time to invest, we can really get some return on it. Next comment. Yes, very hesitant on social media platforms for a department. Only have Facebook, don't engage the public, but we try to post general information at least 3 times a week.
That's good. Posting 3 times a week. That's a lot. That's great.
Yeah, absolutely. And yes, more not public forums. Great. Good. Any other, again, I'm just curious about experience, tips and tricks that you might have to share with the rest of the group. If not, before people start hopping off, I did put the evaluation link in the chat earlier. I'll advertise it now. I'm going to put the evaluation link into the chat. I am also going to try and upload the flyer for the Youth Mental Health First Aid course that's coming up on the 27th. Again, please share with your local and tribal health departments, your colleagues, and invite them to attend. We do really need to get to that benchmark of a minimum of 10 registered participants so that we can host the course. We can send a follow-up email with some additional information and get that out to you hopefully by the end of this week or early next week, as well as just a reminder and a nudge. We did put a deadline to register as the 20th for that class. So we can just confirm, people can know for sure to continue to hold that space on their calendars. and then get the pre-work and all of those other pieces done too. So I said all those things and we still have more than 10 minutes. So feel free to continue this conversation and share your experiences and your strategies. Yeah, connecting your Facebook with Instagram, absolutely.
Yeah, that's very easy to do. If that's something that you want to branch out of Facebook, I saw some comments that they're only on Facebook, and if you can, you're not allowed to have Instagram. Okay. Well, you could keep pushing for it.
Yeah, Facebook Reels. Yep. All the tools, right? I think that's an important piece to think about is it's not just the posting, but the stories and the reels. And even if it's just Facebook, I love that, Angela. Keep pushing, Angela. We'll support you. That's great. And we get it too. We understand that those limitations and barriers here at the university, we certainly have our fair share as well. Great. Otherwise, again, please feel free to stay on. If anyone wants to come off, turn your cameras on and just have a little bit more of a one-on-one conversation with us, you're welcome to do that. If you have any additional questions or conversations for us that maybe aren't related to the topic, we can continue to stay in the space if you'd like as well. Otherwise, thank you for joining us today. We appreciate your engagement and your time in this space. Jen, thank you so much for sharing your expertise and your knowledge just around this specific topic of using social media. We really appreciate your time today as well.